One of the reasons I really do like working in Final Cut Pro is because it's non-destructive and not linear. Now, I have worked many years ago in actually a film studio, and the expression "it wound up on the cutting room floor" is actually, well, what really happened. It was the best scene in the whole movie, and it wound up on the cutting room floor. We don't have a cutting room floor. Non-destructive, non-linear, we can do whatever we want. I love being able to do that. So let's get started here. I want to start this project with silence. We may change our mind on that, but I'm thinking, about 5 seconds of silence, maybe with our counter on the world population, with a background. I've got two to choose from. Let's decide which one we want. This one right here, all you have to do is press the space bar if you want to see it. And then we have this one over here, and I like the first one better. So let's do this. Click it once to select it and drag it down. That's going to snap automatically. And we can see if we come over and we select it and come up here and double click. That's a trick. Double click it. It's 15 seconds and 13 frames. Now if we come back down and select it again and move the playhead, it's now showing us the position of the playhead in reference to the clip that we're on. I want this to be 5 seconds. I could do this a couple of ways. I could come down here, wait for my icon to change like that, and drag it and do it manually. And you can see the number changes up here as well as in that pop-up. Now I could get, I suppose, to 5 seconds. But I don't know about you. The hardest thing in the world I have is if I'm looking for something like 5 seconds and I'm dragging manually, I'm going to get everything but 5 seconds. I hate it when that happens. So let's do this. Select the clip and then double click back up here. Change that number to 5 seconds. Now don't go up there and click like it's an input field. Just come down on your keypad now and type in 500. Press the return key. That is totally the easiest way to do it. Now, if you right-click your mouse, you will see change duration. If you do, it will take you right back up here again. So double-clicking to me is probably the easiest way to do that. We have our initial clip. Now, if we scroll down here, we have the world clock. Now, I want that to be here too. So I'm going to click on it and drag it down. I want it on the top and starting with the other graphic. So bring it all the way over until you see that line turn yellow and let go. Now I want this one to be 90 seconds. I'm not really sure I'm going to use it for the entire 90 seconds, but for now, let's go ahead and do that. So if we have it selected and double click up here, that would be 1 minute and 30 seconds. So we're a little long on it. So let's go ahead and type in 1 minute 30. Press the return key, and there you go. If we scroll all the way this way, we can see where it ends up at exactly 1 minute and 30 seconds or 90 seconds total. 90 is a long time for a commercial to keep somebody entertained. We may stop at 60, but we can choose to do that later. If you want to change the overall width of what you see, you can do that down here. If I click the negative button, now we see everything. It didn't change the time, it just kind of shrunk it up for me. If we click the plus sign, we can make that go back out a little bit more if we want to. That's up to you. Or you can drag it right here. Let's give ourselves enough so we can work. We can worry about the other end later. It's too big. That is the counter. I need to make that smaller. So we have the counter selected right here. Click this button right here, and you will see transform, crop, and distort. I don't want to crop it or distort it. I want to transform it. So we're going to go in and click transform. We get a nice bounding box around it. Go to a corner. Don't hold the shift key or the option key down, all right? Just drag in, and it will drag it in from center. And that's exactly what I want. Now, if you go too far up, it'll flip it. So you got to watch it. Let's get it to about like that for now. Now, if I drag it down, all I have to do is get on the inside here and drag it down. But I want it exactly in the center down here. And notice positions right above me on the left. And it says X and Y positions, and it's moving around. But it's hard for me to get those numbers the way I want them to be. So make sure you still have it selected. And then come up and open up this area right here, which is our inspector. Now, the inspector will give us the ability to change this video, and here's transform. I can turn it off, take it right back to the way it was. My position. If I come in here and double click on that and change that to 0, and then press the return key, I've centered it. It's a lot easier to do it that way. Incidentally, we can rotate it if we want to. We can scale it here if we want to. We can scale it by the numbers, and we can change what's called the anchor position. Now, the anchor is this right here. So when I rotate it, it rotates around that center. When I resize it, it resizes it around that center. If there is a reason for you to change that, you can do that right here. I think it's okay. Let's take our playhead all the way to the left, and let's look at it in full screen. So come over here and click this button right here. Interesting. I think it's too big now that I see it in full screen. So I'm going to come back out for a second. Let's come back into here. Make sure you have the counter selected, of course, up here. And let's go into scaling. And I'm going to pull it down just a little bit more this way. Let's see what that looks like. Again, in full screen so we get a good idea here. I think I like that better. So we're going to leave it like that. Press Escape if you want to get out, and press the space bar to turn it off. All right, I tell you what, that's about it for now. We've established the length of our timeline using the counter. We have our first video down on the bottom. Don't forget, if you close Final Cut Pro down, it saves automatically. There is no save involved. It does that for you. And let's move on.